right now in the NFL and the world and everything, there's actual change, like real serious change, progressive change. I think your last Instagram post was about the Packers and the anthem and all that was going on in the world, that your protest that you guys did as a team a few years back had nothing to do with the anthem, nothing to do with the flag. Why did you post that?
I didn't want to get caught up in the narrative that I couldn't see a difference between the national anthem and caring about social injustice and one's protected Bill of Rights ability to share their opinion and protest and demonstrate. I don't see a connection there. I know there's been a lot of opinions about it both ways, and people have talked about never watching the NFL again because of anthem protests. And as opposed to many people, I believe in freedom of speech and freedom of your own opinion. I don't need to cancel somebody who believes in that. I don't resonate with that at all. That opinion, that ideology, but that's their own opinion. My opinion is that social injustice is an issue. Social inequality is an issue, and I stand with my teammates in the belief that real change needs to happen. And that's, at that time, that was what we decided as a team to do, was to lock arms. The heat that we took, the sweet secretaries at Lambeau Field, the heat that they took from angry fans was alarming. That's the only way to say it. Wanting to get back the tickets and screaming at these two or three lovely ladies who I get to see just about every day when I need them to buzz me across the other door. They're just the sweetest folks. Was so uncalled for and unnecessary. And I think that's part of the problem in this country. If you don't agree with me, in my opinion, then I'm going to tell you what a fucking idiot you are. And I just don't subscribe to that. I think the best way to grow and to learn is to listen. But listening involves being silent, which people forget about. There's a reason they have the exact same letters in those two words. It's hard to listen when you're voicing your opinion all the time and telling somebody how wrong they are. For me, it's about listening to my African American teammates. And Randall Cobb and I had a great conversation about 5 years ago, and we talked about just kind of the difference in thought process when you're getting pulled over. And I was sharing my own thoughts, and he shared his. And it's a lot different. Yeah. It's a lot different. It's the way you're treated, and things go through your mind. And I think listening to those real stories and struggles and frustrations and racist remarks that you've heard over the years is how you grow as a society. It's educating yourself to what is really going on out there. And I don't have a problem with anybody at any time voicing their opinion, whether it's actually a verbal opinion or whether it's a nonverbal. And there's been some powerful demonstrations over the years that have led to real change. And I think there's been a conversation that's been started. It's been progressed the last couple months, which is a really good thing. And I think the action steps need to continue and will continue. And I think it's very positive for our country. But the real thing that I made, and I sent out a similar Instagram post during that time, but I thought it was just classically hypocritical to have gentlemen on knees taking pictures of us locking arms wearing hats, while how many hundreds or thousands of people waited in line at concession stands or in the bathroom wearing hats or not paying attention to the national anthem. My whole point was to say, it's not about the anthem. It never has been. It's about the uncomfortability around a topic. And I think the first step in growing is to admitting, hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable. This topic, this issue. But you have to, there has to be some understanding, humility that okay, I don't understand what's going on. Now I need to listen and educate myself. And when you do, you realize there's different privileges that have been afforded to people who look like us compared to people who look like a lot of my teammates. And I support those guys, and I support, reform and a lot of the, a lot of judicial areas where I think we can make some real progress in changing the antiquated laws that are not up to date with 2020 and things that are fair for all people, not just a certain group of society.
You're right. Of course, it's not about the anthem. A lot of players choose and want to choose that moment to make their stand. So you go into this season, obviously you have the pandemic, you have a wild election around the corner. And then on top of that, you have people who are going to want to demonstrate, they're going to want to protest, they're going to want to have their opinions. So as a captain and as a quarterback of the team, do you go into the season with a plan as a team so you're all on the same page in terms of protests or anthems? Like, do you have to have that meeting before the first game?
I think it won't hurt. I think it's important to listen and to be silent and to hear everybody's opinion on the issue and talk through what we want to do. And we felt like a few years ago that it was important to be unified and to lock arms. And I'm not sure what it's going to be this year. I hearken back to a time as a young player where we were never out for the anthem.
Yeah.
It wasn't until there was some DOD demonstrations and money coming from them to the NFL before we were actually on the field for the anthem. So I find a lot of it very hypocritical in nature. But I support whatever decision we come to and we decide to do. And it's a real issue, and I'm committed to change in our area. And I think if more people just listened and educate themselves, we could actually make some progress on this important issue.